Thank you very much. Yeah, happy to do it. No, that's great. Thank you. Well, I remember when we used to see back here. Got homework to do or something? No. You know what?
Well, I wouldn't do anything that's my day. So I would just do
The quid will be on campus.
You may not get inducted this year, but still.
Oh, by the way, I got this. Okay, bye.
That is your measure.
See you later. The 22nd. I'm sticking around. I'll be here for the day. If you guys have trouble, I'm going to take you up on something.
Great. Send me a little email. I can send you the same thing. Wait. Give me a second.
All right, we're going to have everyone take their seats. Could you sit in Thomas's backpack and then that chair next to it? Yeah, where Thomas's backpack is. Just so you guys are more aesthetic. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. If you are viewing online or if you are here in person, we greatly appreciate you coming to the 2023 Inter-Residence Hall Association Forum, where the candidates will get to explain a little bit more about themselves, about their campaign, and then get to some student questions so you can hear a little bit more from them, hear a little bit more together. Again, thank you all for coming. We are just gonna jump right into this because it is 8:30 at night on a Thursday. But again, I hope you all enjoy this and enjoy the questions and enjoy hearing from the slate. They will be sharing a microphone, so if you guys just want to pass it between each other. And then there will be a 1.5 minutes for opening statements and 2 minutes for every other question. And Jamie will signify when there's 30 seconds left, when there's 10 seconds left in her time, based on the little placards that we have up here. All right, so the first question, are you guys ready? All right, perfect. All right, so our first question is just an opening statement from each slate. And we will start with the Pedrosa Rotor campaign.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight, whether that be in person or online. We definitely appreciate your presence. To introduce myself, my name is Julia Pedrosa. I am running for the IRHA presidential position. I am currently a sophomore, double majoring in computer science as well as psychology, along with a minor in criminal justice. And I am also currently on the IRHA executive board as the director of communications.
Hi, my name is Amanda Roeder. I am currently running for the vice president position. I'm a freshman right now, double majoring in business management as well as marketing. And as a team, me and Julia plan to make the academic year of 2023 through 2024 more engaged, more safe, and more united for all residents here on campus.
Alrighty, and now we will move to the Anderson Fells campaign.
Hi, my name is Chloe Anderson. I'm running for the president position. I'm a freshman majoring in biology, and currently I'm minoring in tech com, but I'm considering switching to biomedical engineering. I am currently living in Eden, and what about you?
Yeah, so my name is Braden Fells. I'm currently the IRHA vice president. I am a resident of Willow Hall, and I serve in the IRHA Events Committee, the IRHA Food and Dining Committee, as well as I'm a member of the National Residence Hall Honorary as a GA member with Chloe. And we are wanting to improve the dining, outreach, and representation and feedback of all students here at Iowa State.
Alrighty, thank you. Now we will start back with Anderson and Fells. Walk us through your platform and explain how through your one-year term you will tangibly implement it.
Awesome. So our platform that we're running on is DOR, or Dining, Outreach, and Representation and Feedback. So the big things with dining that a lot of students are really excited about are our conversations with dining. We're talking about expanding get and go to weekend hours, so you'll be able to get sandwiches and pizzas and all that good stuff after dining centers close. Second thing we really want to do is get healthy food options in C-stores. So what that would look like is having just like vegetables, fruits, things like that in your C-stores. So you can get something healthy and you don't have to go to Target or Walmart and take the bus or drive there. And that'll be especially helpful over in, let's say, like on this side of campus where you don't have a whirly bird, so you can go get something healthy after you work out, other things like that. Our last thing is getting meal bundles in certain ISU dining locations. So something that this will help with is just making sure that students can get a full, actually healthy meal without having to worry about using up all their dining dollars to get like a drink or to get a side or something like that. And do you want to open up outreach?
So for outreach, we want to increase student opportunities. One of the ways we want to do that is by having IRHA executive members go into hall councils at the beginning of the year. We feel doing this will let students know what they're able to get involved in early so they're able to have stuff on their career fairs. As well as it'll help with bill writing so we're able to spend our money so we're able to use it for events for residents. And for our final point of representation and feedback.
Okay, so our last thing is representation and feedback. One of our biggest points with that is making sure that Freddie Court has the knowledge and the basis on what their rates are going to look like the next year. So that would either look like them coming in here to talk about it, or we would go and present it there to them. Our next thing is increasing open forum opportunities to students that can actually come in, make sure their concerns are heard with an IRHA, and hopefully get some feedback. So what we're looking like to do with that is make it virtual so students can submit forms there. And then our last thing is just getting a feedback form with dining and housing. And all of our points that we've done, we've met with both ISU Department of Residence and ISU Dining with, and they've all said it's perfectly tangible, we just have to put in the work.
Alright, and then moving on to the Pedrosa Road campaign, if you'd like to explain that question as well.
So as a team, we want to better support ISU by using inclusive student-led events with the clear intention of welcoming all residents here on campus. So one example of this is that we want to be more intentional on where we're putting our events. We've noticed that a lot of them are either at Fryland or either at Joffrey. So we want to make sure that we're using Maple and we have events there so that we're engaging students that don't often get to go to those because they're not as accessible. And they're meeting the people that they often don't get to meet. Then we have S. We want to support the wellness and safety of all residents here on campus. So according to the Department of Public Safety, 1 out of 4 females here on campus have or have known someone who's been sexually assaulted. So we want to create a free female and male self-defense class, as well as open a discussion about creating more lighting at night so that residents feel more safe walking home. And then we have U, utilize an effective communication with all residents here on campus. So we have noticed that there's a lot of international residents here that live on campus. We also has noticed that IRHA only use one language to communicate their information. So that's why we want to use multiple different languages so that people can use their native language here and they feel like they're more recognized, that they're more wanted, and they're more welcomed here on campus. And these are all so easily implemented, either if it's parliament members or exec members talking together, but we can also join up with other organizations, such as the multicultural organizations, and we have even talked to Iowa State Health and Wellness Center about initiating some of these implementations into ISU next year.
Awesome. And then our next question is briefly describe the experiences you have that will make you a great leader within IRHA. We will start with the Pedroza Rubber Campaign.
Prior to attending Iowa State University, I graduated as valedictorian from my class within the city of Chicago. Through the changes of the COVID-19 pandemic, I have shown my motivation, passion, and flexibility, and these are all highlighted skills that serve this high recognition for me. Along with that, once I'm in, as a student at Iowa State, I'm currently a student ambassador for the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, where I do represent student life to new students in hopes of them wanting to feel more welcome here on campus. As I mentioned earlier, I am the current IRHA Director of Communication, and through that I do the outreach to the organization towards students, as well as interact with all the executive members, such as the president, vice president, and the 2 directors of events. And through that, I do have the insight and knowledge of what it takes to transition new incoming members for the next academic year.
I am also a very driven and strong person. At my first job at the age of 16, I became a manager, and I was a manager there for 2 years. I have also worked with big companies such as Milwaukee Tool in the 3rd Street Market Hall as a team manager and won competitions with them. And even at the earliest age of 18, I became a real estate agent. I am willing to put the effort in this, and you guys give me the chance. And what sets me apart is my personality. I love meeting people, and I am so grateful just for this opportunity, because through campaigning and through tabling, I have met so many connections that I wouldn't even have a chance to. And that means so much to me. So what I hope you guys recognize is that I want this, and I'm willing to work for it. And skills are learned, but passion is it.
All right, and then we will ask the same question to the Anderson Fellows Campaign.
So yeah, currently I serve as Eaton Hall president as well as the IRHA representative for Eaton Hall. That's something I'm really passionate about. I'm also on IRHA events committee where I go to that very often, and we just sit there, we plan events, and then I'm also on the NRHHGA council, I'm a GA member of NRHH. And basically all of that, I go to almost every event I can make. I'm very passionate about it. I have a couple of friends in the back of the room right now, and they can testify that I'm very passionate about IRHA. Once I start talking about it, I don't shut up about it. So it's just something that I really am just very passionate about, and I'm very excited if given the opportunity to work for it.
So for me, as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently the IRHA vice president, but before that, I was a representative for Willow Hall, as well as the vice president for Arnquist House in Willow. So I've seen all 3 levels of it, whether it's the house, hall, or now the full body campus. So being able to use the experience I've learned working on all 3 levels, as well as coming from an experience with a ton of different things I did in high school. I'm an Eagle Scout. I won 2 national broadcast journalism awards in high school. So I have the drive. I'm willing to put in the work and lead and work with everybody. And I just think that's some of the stuff that I've done. That's helped. So yeah.
I think another thing is just our connections and are just very everyone I meet within IRHA are just very people I can work with, and I'm just very good at fostering those, or I guess both of us honestly are very good at fostering those relationships with people. So we just have a really good, healthy working environment where I'm very confident we can get things done. Don't have to worry about just fostering the working relationship because we already have those going for us.
Alrighty, and now we will move on to our next question. So if elected, what will be your #1 priority within IRHA? And we'll start with the Anderson Fellows Campaign.
Definitely, yeah. So one of the first things we want to work on implementing is our appointment dining. is, so as I mentioned, I live in Willow right now, and anytime I go work out at Lead and want to get something to eat afterwards, I really don't want to wait for 3 Blue to take to Target or Hy-Vee or whatnot. So making sure that we're able to get these healthy options into C-stores early so students aren't having to wait around. And it's going to be huge with a lot of these buildings now getting kitchenettes. I know Willow's getting one this year, and it's also huge in Joffrey Buchanan, as they currently don't have a dining center right there. So having things in the MU food, like the MUC store, is definitely something that we want to work on, as well as having Get and Go on weekends, as it's something that we've talked about. It affects us every single weekend. It's like 9:30 p.m. and I want to get a slice of pizza, but I don't want to have to order Domino's or Papa John's. I want to be able to go down to the C-store, use a meal swipe, and get a piece of pizza. So working on that and implementing that first is definitely something we want to work on.
I think another thing too, that really isn't part of our campaign, but it's something that we both want to do, is really make like a safe and fun environment within IRHA where everyone feels welcome, and they just really want to come and like just get things done. And I think once we make that environment, we can build amazing student leaders on campus that don't even have to stay in residence. They can go to student government, go to RA positions, move off campus, and just have those experiences for the rest of their life that really build them as better leaders and better people. And I really think we all have for that one, so thank you.
And then we will pass that off to the Penrose and Rotary campaign.
Our number one priority will be the residents. That they are heard, and that they know that we want to be there for them. I want to make sure that ISU isn't just united through the individual halls, but all the halls together. I hope to make IRHA a more personable experience to all our students, and make sure that they're more informed of what our purpose is, and that we are here for you guys. And even touch on Parliament members, we want to empower you. We want to make you more, the best you can be, sorry, and gain anything you need, any skills, any leadership roles that we can engage and offer you as much as we can. And we also want to make sure that the residents are aware that these events are going to be personalized to them and to what they need. Because ISU is their home. We want to make sure that they're 110% sure that they chose the right one for the next 4 years.
Our campaign journey thus far, in these past few weeks, we really have shown our priority for residents. Through all the times we have met residents, we have made countless connections, as well as just one-on-one relationships, and a lot of friends, to be fair. And we also hear the insight and the feedback that they have about living in resident halls, and from that we are learning every single day on ideas of how to improve IRHA through events and through the safety and as well as the communication. And it really has driven our passion and our motivation since the beginning of this journey, just because in the beginning it was a little interesting, but now it's like when we make these connections, we see the real reason why we're doing this, and that real reason is for the residents, because we believe IRHA is solely for the residents, and it should not be influenced by any organizations or facilities on campus, only for the residents.
All right, and then we will move on to what do you hope to accomplish or gain from being elected to these positions? And we'll start with Penrose and Rotary.
As president, I hope to optimize the executive team. I want my executive members to feel supported and enjoy the work that they're putting the work and effort that they're putting into this organization. And this support will be seen in having individual meetings where we can set up tangible goals for each and every single member in order for them to know that I want to empower them in any way, shape, or form. Included in that, I will have that outreach with directors and advisors in order to also provide resources to not only our executive member, but also to residents here on campus. My knowledge of these positions currently as a director of communications will help facilitate these conversations, as I do understand the process of setting up events, as I do attend events committee of meetings, along with the president, where I have worked with him countless times in understanding how IRHA is ran. And
All right, through my role of potentially being the vice president, my personal mission is to create and pass more bills while also decreasing the stress of the parliament members. So I have connected with a past vice president to go more through the process and procedures. And we kind of talked about how can we create next year to be stronger. And one of our ideas is to start right away during Parliament, and we're going to talk about speed up start, the process of bills and creating them. And then we're going to create a voluntary bill writing committee that meets after Parliament. So that way, if you guys have an exam, if you guys have homework, that it takes away that personal stress. So you guys are allowed to leave. People who are want to stay, we can still create efficient amounts of bills. And I hope that next year we create those bills that are going to be between dorms, so that we create that experience for students to be able to meet each other, but also these bills being so thorough with the whereas and enacted clause and budget outline, so that our next
All right.
years.
That is time. All right, we'll pass it back to the Anderson Fells campaign if you'd like to answer that question.
Yeah, of course. So our first and foremost, IRHA is made for and paid for by students. It is a student-serving organization first and foremost. And our most important priority and what we want to accomplish is just make sure that the general student experience for residents on campus is better. We want to make sure that people, they look back on their first year and they say, wow, we really had a good year. I had great experiences within IRHA, going to that fun event we had, and all that stuff. And I just feel like really making sure that we can build those good student leaders within IRHA. Getting the hall councils early, I think, can really help that. And just making sure that we build good student leaders who have good events, good memories, and they think do something good to say.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's one of those things where it's even from now when I first came to IRHA at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, this is scary. I don't really know what to do. And now, it's something I look forward to every week, and just wanting to make sure that every resident, every member of parliament, house council, hall council, whatever it might be, feels supported and feels like this is the place they want to be. We want it to be not IRHA, it's just another thing on your calendar you have to check off. We want it to be where you look forward to coming to IRHA. You're like, yes, I can make an impact in residents' lives here, and we think with our points we're able to do that.
I want people, the last thing I really want to say at this point, then I'll kind of be done, is I just want people to have the same passion for IRHA or student government even, or just random things on campus. I want people to have the same passion for those things that me and people do for IRHA. So that's all I like to say.
Awesome, and then we will move into our next question, which is, what events or programs would you like to see come out of IRHA during next year's academic year? We'll start with the Anderson Fells campaign.
Definitely, yeah. So one of the things that we're trying to work on right now, I've met with the director of dining a couple times to talk about potentially getting a get-and-go location out of Towers. This is one of those things where it's definitely an issue out there, and talking with people who live out there, they're like, I don't want to have to walk a mile to Friley. It doesn't seem very fun. And making sure we're able to get that out there, as well as one of the big things we heard when going to all the different hall councils was, I live in Bliff or I live in BWR. There's no special diet kitchen on this side of campus. If I want to get food that meets with my allergies, I have to walk all the way over to UDA. So working with dining to get that over on east side of campus, so students on that side of campus feel seen and supported when it comes to their dining needs. And you want to talk about that next time?
Yeah, of course. So some of just more of the events that we have. Well, actually, I'll talk about student government first. I really want to foster a good relationship with student government so we can collaborate and really get things done that will benefit residents. And I've already had a few conversations with them, and I really do think that there are a lot of great things that we can do in the coming years with them. But just for some events instead of programs and all that, shout out to my mom really quick. A Super Bowl event where basically it would be soup, the food, and you'd be able to just donate soup and donate at the shop. And I think that would really benefit residents. It's also be fun because the Super Bowl event went over really well this year. And then something that I've wanted to do all year this year, but just haven't had the time for, and I'm really looking forward to maybe being able to do next year, is bringing back just an alternate form of the field day bill. I just think that would be really fun, and I think that'd be a good use of residents' money. Just a fun thing that I think could be good.
All right, and we'll pass it over to the Federals and Rotary campaign.
Implementations of programs and events that we have currently include food pantry at Wallace Hall, most commonly known as Towers. We do recognize also that they do live far from campus and do not currently have a dining hall open. And because of that, we are looking into the budget, if elected, to take money away, specifically around $500, so that residents at Towers are able to purchase food in order to have those resources when it's study week and they can't leave on they can't go to the bus stop on time, or they need to just stay in the resident halls. We want them to know that we're here supporting them as supporting their well-being through food, especially because we understand that's where your source of energy comes from. In addition to another implementation that we plan on having is a resident hall town hall. This would consist of Amanda and I sitting in at each and every single resident hall around 14 to 15 meetings a month, and within each and every single resident hall, where we would have residents come out of the room and just speak to us about any concerns or comments that they have currently going on within their resident halls, because we want them to know that we are easily accessible. They don't have to reach us through their RA or their hall director, or even come to our office hours, because we've seen that hasn't been really successful for students to know where that is. So we want them to know that we will show up for them, because we want to hear these concerns and actually fix these concerns, because this is their home and they should not have to feel as if it's an issue. Additionally, we will also try and work with the budget in implementing a new director of events role. This will help in distributing responsibilities in order to hold more engaging and interactive events, such as a volleyball tournament that can include all resident students. And from there, we can also utilize the space around towers. And at the end of each and every single event that we will host, we will have a resident survey, because we want to know what residents want to see, not just executive members. We want the voice of the residents.
All right, that is time. Okay, thank you for participating in that first section. We will now move on to our audience questions. So this was advertised via social media and through Parliament members, where people in the audience or your students can ask you guys questions. The Election Commission sat down and picked those questions out before today's events, so we will move into those. We have 7 questions for you guys, or 6 questions for you guys. Alrighty, so our first question is for Amanda. Amanda, how have you prepared for the vice president position?
So like I said, I have met with the past vice president to talk about more about the procedures and the rules that we have to follow, because obviously that's important to me. And I have gone to these council meetings, so let me go further prepare. We sit down after we have the presentation, because I want to learn. I'm eager to learn. I know a lot of it is having these one-on-one meetings and having this experience. So I'm 100% willing to continue meeting up with vice presidents and be in this position, because that's important to me.
Alrighty, and then our next question is for Chloe. Chloe, how have you prepared for the president position of IRHA?
Yeah, so my president experience, just being president of organizations, goes back further than just Eaton Hall Council. I was also president of a few of the organizations I was in high school, and I've always had experience with leadership and just being present in communities and stuff. And I feel like Eaton Hall Council has really prepared me for the president position, as well as just my general involvement in IRHA and passion for it. I'm just really willing to learn and work with Thomas at the end of the year, if elected, to just make sure I have those resources to transition from Eaton Hall president to IRHA president. And I think that I've just had a lot of great people to look up to in terms of leadership and preparing for president of things. Thomas, Kyle, prior to coming to IRHA, my dad, just like people like that. And I just think the community and coming to Iowa State has really transformed me as a leader and prepared me for this position.
All right, and then we will now move into our second block of questions. This is for Braden. Braden, what have you done in the past semester as the current IRHA vice president that would validate your re-election as vice president?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things I really pride myself on is the fact that we've spent money this semester. We've got bills happening. Before I was elected, we only had 2 bills passed, and one of them wasn't for an event. Since being elected, we've had 3 events happen and another 2 that are being brought and in discussion to happening. So making sure that I'm actually working and have been working with all our different Parliament members to make events happen, so we're able to use the money that residents pay to create fun events. And 2 of them, the Super Bowl event and the March Madness one, both had incredibly high turnouts. So being able to continue to work and with all the different Parliament members to make sure that their ideas or their hall council ideas are able to happen is something that I've done and want to continue to be able to do.
Alrighty, and our next question is for Julia. Julia, what have you done in the past year as the current IRHA Director of Communications that would validate your election for president?
So as the Director of Communications, it does require me to interact with each and every single member on the executive team, especially the Director of Events. And from that, I have learned the multiple steps and processes of creating events that will definitely prove to be useful with the next incoming members on the team to help facilitate a smooth transition. Additionally, I have attended Parliament meetings for almost all of them, except when I have an exam, of course. And then help facilitate, build activities where we do help answer any questions, and from that I do have experience when it comes to Parliament and how to help guide Amanda into that process as well. As the Director of Communications, I run our official Instagram account, and from that I do outreach with the students, whether it be by giveaways or having posters, and through that, I have also found engaging ways to get the attention and interaction from students on campus.
Awesome. Well, you guys can hold on to the mic because this next question is for you. Knowing that sometimes slates do not implement their campaign platforms in office historically, what makes your support of health and wellness actually feasible and tangible while balancing your positional responsibilities?
Okay, so today actually we did meet with someone at the Health and Wellness Center. She actually ended up stopping by on our tabling. So we had a great conversation. She even gave us some of her contact information to talk about tangibly doing and cooperating with them next year. Of course, we have a lot of ideas that we want to share with them. We're talking about obviously self-defense classes and opening up more availability for our students. But we have talked to them and we have planned to communicate with them further, and they have agreed to have a conversation with us.
And then also through communicating with the Student Health and Wellness Center, we do want to implement their resources into any events that we do have, such as having an event near midterms or around near finals, not the week before, but the week before that one, just so students have these resources for them, and it's readily available as well as free, and they don't have to worry about having to seek a small organization to access these resources. We want them to know that, hey, we're working with these people, they know what's going to help you at the end of the day, and we want to make sure that you're supported in that way. So that implementation within our events will definitely help ease the stress, and also ease the stress on our directors of events as well, because they also have that aid in having these events when it comes to students.
Awesome. And then our next question is for Brayden and Chloe. Knowing most slates historically do not end up being able to implement their campaign platforms in office, what makes your dining plans actually feasible and tangible while balancing your positional responsibilities?
Yeah, definitely. So the big thing is we have a phenomenal relationship with dining. Both Chloe and I serve as influencers for IC Dining, so we'll go around and post whenever they have different promotional things, and working with whether it's John who runs our social media, or Christian, or Karen, or any of the other wonderful people in dining, Teresa, we have really good relationships with them, and we've sat down with them multiple times for hour and a half, just to kind of talk about what we think can be improved, what they think can be improved, and just wanting to make sure that everything we're bringing up is a feasible thing to do. And Christian has said that everything we want to do is something that is very easily implementable, as long as we're willing to put the time in and seeing how students feel about it, and we're both really driven in wanting to implement all of these things. So I just think that's how we're able to maintain this end of the bargain with dining. I mean, we currently work with them a lot, and we're able to maintain our positions pretty well. So I think just keeping up that hard work and good work will definitely maintain, or
Pay off.
yeah, definitely pay off.
Very thankful for it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you think so, or?
That's all. I think you answered it really well.
Bye.
Awesome. All right, so this next question, the rest of the questions will be for both slates. So we'll start with the Anderson Fells campaign. Throughout your time as president or vice president, will you do anything to raise awareness about mental health initiatives on campus?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a huge advocate for mental health. I've dealt with a lot of mental health struggles personally in my life, and I know a lot of other people who I'm close with that have as well. It's something that I was hugely passionate about in high school. I was our Signs of Suicide speaker, so it's something where I've done a lot of work with it before, and It's something that, well, we haven't reached out to health and wellness about it. It's something that we're definitely wanting to do because to me, mental health is the most important thing. And if you don't have a strong mental health, we're wanting to work on implementing ways to improve that here at our state.
Yeah, and I really think just providing, like, I just want to make sure that IRHA isn't something that's stressful for residents, that's going to cause them extra stress, that's going to worsen their mental health. And also just having fun events where students can come and they can relax. And like I think it's large, the puzzling event though, just something that's relaxing, that like events can just happen and then people can just be relaxed to have something that just takes a little bit of stress off of their plate too. I think will also help a lot with residents. So we're just really looking forward to being able to promote mental health.
Awesome. We will move to the Pedrosa Rotor campaign. The same question for you guys.
So as we have mentioned, one of our mission statements is to support the safety and wellness of students, residents on campus. And as we have mentioned before, we do plan on teaming up with the Student Health and Wellness Center. Mental health is big nowadays. As a psychology major especially, I understand how important it is as a college student to really impact that in the best way possible in providing those resources. So because of that, that's why we made it one of our main mission statements, because we want to support students on campus. As a resident ourselves, we understand the struggles that a daily college student can deal with, and because of that, we want to support them, not just make it solely about events, the IRHA. We want them to know that we are here for them, to create these one-on-one connections and to provide them these resources that are available to us, because these resources are available to us and they should be used by all residents on campus.
Talking even a little bit more, our whole campaign is really about just making that personal experience, and we want to be able to connect with every one of you guys. So within this town halls, when people are coming down, they want to talk about some kind of issue that's going on in that residence hall, we're making that one-on-one connection. If you or any resident need anything, they can come to us as well. We're willing to talk to them because that's what matters. Their mental health, their whole life here at ISU matters to us, and we're here to fix any little concerns that they have.
Awesome. And then you guys can keep the mic. What is one characteristic of the opposing slate that you believe is stronger than your own, and how do you counteract that? How do you counter that with your own platform? Pedrosa Rotor first.
A characteristic that I do believe that Brayden and Chloe do present is definitely the more outgoing personality, in the sense of having these conversations with hall directors and RAs. We do struggle in that area just a bit, but we are improving ourselves in having these communications with residents and then building that up to RAs. We have had multiple conversations with many RAs on the east side of campus especially, and from there we are really building on that support and just understanding of that process as well in those leadership positions on campus, and hoping to expand on them through our organization when it comes to Parliament members and even just regular residents seeking these leadership skills.
To expand on that a little bit more, I can say knowledge due to experience. Obviously they have been on the board longer than I've obviously been here, and they have met more people due to that, but I do believe if I was to be vice president that I would be able to gain that knowledge through the experience, through working one-on-one with people, because I want that. I want to know the knowledge. I want to be able to run everything efficiently as possible, and even making these connections like they have with the RAs as your position in other clubs that you guys are in. I'm willing to make those connections, and I have made those connections. I see people at camping all the time, and I say them by their name, and I get to talk to them all day and to hear about what's going on. So.
Awesome. And then we will ask the exact same question to Anderson Fells campaign.
Yeah, so I guess this really isn't something that like either of us have up on you, but both of them are incredibly kind people, and I just wanted to shout that out really quick. But I think something that they have on us is their like opportunity to work with Health and Wellness Center. It's something that I hadn't even thought of until they brought up in their campaign, and now that they brought it up, I'm like, that's a phenomenal idea. And I really do think that we're genuinely so open to doing something like that in the future, and just working with like our directors of events or like leadership or anything like that to just make sure that we're also promoting something that benefits students' health and wellness on campus. Do you have anything you want to?
You put it perfectly.
I really do think, yeah, that's something that like I just thought that you guys like had good, so.
All right, and this will be our last audience question before closing statements. We'll start with Anderson Fells campaign. How do you guys plan on implementing the feedback that you receive from residents?
You want to start or you want me?
Either works.
Okay. So our thing that we want to do, we've talked to both, as we said already, we've talked to both dining and housing about this. And they said that it's something they would be open to, it's something that they've both thought about in the past, but they weren't quite sure how to implement it. So what we were thinking is doing like a little QR code on like a table in a dining hall or a poster in a residence hall, and having that go to both dining and housing, depending on where the QR code is, obviously. And we both discussed with dining, and it's something that we would be pushing for is to make sure that we're both included on that form, to where if we see something and we're like, hey, this is an issue, and it's not getting fixed by like dining or like housing or someone, that we can also push for that and make sure those student demands and needs are met, as well as just kind of see like what good things are happening on campus that residents really like that we can improve upon and make sure are still met in the future.
Yeah, and one of the big things I know in my meetings with Christian or our meetings with Christian, dining recently got rid of the secret shopper program here, so they're really struggling with getting student feedback. So we think having these QR codes, and especially, there's a lot of times you'll see something like the salad bar might not be the cleanest, and you're like, this is supposed to be the healthy thing, I don't want to do it, but you don't want to be the one to send that email and playing email tag with people. Having these QR codes where you can anonymously submit a form with a complaint, or something that was really good, let's say you had a phenomenal omelet at Seasons, and you just want to let dining know that they're doing a really good job and you keep it up. Having these QR codes where we can see it as well as dining or housing, and work to make these changes that residents are feeling, is something that we really want to make sure to do.
Awesome, and then we will ask that exact same question to the Penrose and Rotary campaign.
Alright, perfect. So we all, of course, appreciate feedback, and even at these hall councils where we talk about our presentation, they do ask questions, and they even offer it, such as when we talk about wanting to be inclusive, and they talked about disabilities, and that's something that we would have never thought about at first, and they brought it up, and now we're looking for events, looking for ways to include them, or even international students, and how they transfer here, move in like 2 weeks earlier. These are things that we love to hear, and because we're not going to come up with everything on top of our heads. We need you guys. We need the feedback so that we can grow ISU, grow our leadership, grow as much as we can. And even that's not even the first one. We even talked about the resident surveys at the end of each event. Someone brought that up and be like, well, how do we get the residents to get what they want? How do we have that feedback? And now we created the survey because we have that feedback. And it's just such things over and over again like that because obviously your guys' feedback, and I can say this 100 times, it matters to us. It affects the way we run things. It affects the quality.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're fine. So Amanda put it in perfect words, honestly. Like we said, our priority is the residents, and again, all these conversations that we have had with each and every single resident has really made us better as a team together in initiating more ideas because we want students to know we want their feedback in the sense that these are their views that support our organization, and it should be used for residents to enjoy in their free time because as college students, we really don't have as much free time as people like to think, and we want them to know that it's for them, they're welcome for these events, and for whatever else resources that we provide, and just overall that we want their feedback so that we can better support them in any way, shape, or form.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you to all of the individuals that submitted their questions. We are going to move to closing statements now. Each slate will have 1.5 minutes to wrap it up. So we will start with the Penrose and Rotary campaign.
Again, we would like to thank everyone who is here with us tonight, whether that be in person or online. Without you, this forum wouldn't have been as possible and honestly as successful as it has. We would also like to thank the other slate for going through this journey with us. It really was a fun, competitive campaign overall, and we really do appreciate you guys. Additionally, we would like to express our gratitude to the Election Commission for all your efforts and hard work to have this election in the first place, because we understand that it was not easy. Thank you to all the Parliament members who did allow us to go to their hall councils to spread our mission. We were very happy interacting and getting that feedback from you guys. And then finally, the last and most important thank you that we do have is for the residents. Again, without you, this would not have been possible, and these past few weeks have just been filled with so much joy, and just having these connections, we will definitely carry it on throughout our college career, and we do hold you dear and close to all of our hearts.
Alright, as I hope everyone can tell, our true intentions are just to improve the residents' lives and make as much personal connections with as many people as we can. So if anything lingers in your mind, we aim to connect with the future, and that future is you guys.
All right, wonderful. And then last but certainly not least, the Anderson Fells campaign.
So I could go on here all day and just talk about our campaign, talk about what we want to do with residents' money, talk about utilizing student funds, all of that. But I guess what I haven't really had an opportunity to say yet is just thank you to everyone who supported us, or even people who just live in residence, everybody really. Thank you to you guys, and thank you to Brayden for being an amazing running mate and just always just being so willing to work. I just know that I can trust him with anything on the campaign that I need to get done, or even in the future really, if this works out well for us. So but I just want to say this has been an amazing experience, and I know win or lose, this is something that I'm going to take away. Amazing experiences and just things that I've learned from it are great. And I was talking to my dad about this earlier. He said you'll never forget this. This is things that you've learned that'll be great for the rest of your life. But yeah.
Yeah, and the last thing I have to say, again, thank you to everybody. We're just so thankful for everybody that we've been able to work with over these past, really a couple months since working on this and everything. But, and the last thing, go out and vote, whether it's for us or for the other slate. Just make sure you're voting. It's important. We want to know your feedback, want to know that your votes and your opinions are accurately represented. So make sure you go do that. And thank you again so much for having us. And yeah.
Go Cyclones. Have a good night.
Alrighty, so that concludes the 2023 Inter-Residence Hall Association Forum. I hope you guys got to learn a little bit more about our candidates and got to see them up here talking about all the things that they're passionate about. Thank you to Thomas for getting the live stream working. Thank you to the technology people, or the technology, whatever made it work today. Technology was on our side, which never happens. So that's really awesome. Thank you to everyone who came and stayed. I hope this was a good experience for you all. Candidates, we're gonna take a picture of all you, so don't leave quite yet. And then again, voting does open April 10th at 9 a.m. If you are contracted to live in residence next year, you will receive a vote. If you're moving off campus next year, or if you're moving to Frederickson Court or SUV, you will not receive a vote. So it is only residence hall students that are contracted for the 2023-2024 year. I just want to make that clear. Please let us know if you think you should have gotten a ballot, but you didn't. Yeah, have a great night. Thank you all again for chilling with us and listening to our candidates present. And have a great night. I'll see you all next Thursday. Thomas, can you use your camera?
What do you mean?